Hello my friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Ian with Out of This World Reader, and today's video is going to be an unhaul, the first unhaul of 2022 and maybe the only one. But unhauling books is probably the toughest thing that I have to face in life. Like, I would much rather write an essay than unhaul books because I just had the hardest time getting rid of them. I don't know, even the ones that I don't plan on reading, or I didn't like. It's just always tough getting rid of books, but all of these will either be going to my local bookstore where I'll be just kind of donating them, or to my library. I'm hoping that I can go to the library and donate them, but last time I went, they were like, with COVID and everything, I couldn't donate them. But we have quite a few different books here on the piled on the floor, but a lot of these are books that I just didn't really like that much, and I'm just gonna give them away to just friends or family or donate them. And they all kind of came off when I reorganized my bookshelves. But if you haven't seen in the other videos already, it is already starting to kind of get pretty disorganized again, and I might have to buy another bookshelf. But I think without further ado, let's just hop in with all these books. I'll just give you kind of my brief thoughts on if I've read them or if I don't plan on reading them. So the first one I got here is The Antidote, and I picked this up a while ago, back when I was kind of quarantined in my house and I felt like I needed to buy every book. But because of that, I bought a lot of books that I just probably was never going to read, but I felt like I had to have them. And this one I actually tried reading, and I got like 10 pages in and I just was not connecting with anything that was going on with it. It felt really young, and I just wasn't intrigued by just the things going on. I know it's 10 pages in, but I just felt like I was never going to read it again after that kind of early DNF, so I thought it's time to kind of get rid of it. And similar to that last one, we have All the Wind in the World, but I believe this is kind of like a sci-fi YA romance, and I just never plan on picking this up. But I'm trying to venture more into kind of the adult version of sci-fi and fantasy, and since I'm being very picky on my YA, I don't ever plan on picking this up. Next up we have a romance, and it's actually perfect for this time around, Valentine's Day, and I would recommend it. I actually did enjoy it, but I just feel like I will never reread it, so I'm gonna kind of donate it in hopes that somebody will kind of enjoy it just as much I did. And this is Honey Girl. But I really liked how the main character in here was studying astronomy, and that is something you never kind of read in books. But astronomy and all of that, if you don't know, been on my channel, I do love space and everything, so I was really on board with her kind of studying, getting her PhD in astronomy, and kind of having to deal with the stress of just university and just life as well. So I just really enjoyed everything about this. This is also a sapphic romance, so if you're looking for anything like that, definitely pick this up. Next up we have actually a couple different Ruth Ware books, and if you don't know, I actually have a very complicated relationship with Ruth Ware. I've only enjoyed, I guess, one of her books, really. I mean, I guess they're all kind of, they're on the fence mostly, but the only one I've seen to have enjoyed is The Turn of the Key. And all the other ones were just kind of like hit and miss. So I thought I'd just give these other two away that I have to kind of my sister. One of them, I believe, she hasn't read yet, and I'll give them to her so she can read. And the other one I donate. And the first one's going to be The Death of Mrs Westaway, which I kind of did enjoy, kind of the setting and everything, but I felt it was very predictable. I actually think I did a whole review, and I think in that review I said some great things about that, but just looking back on it, it was very predictable, and I don't know why I kind of enjoyed it as much as I did. I don't really know. I have to check out that review. But overall, I really just liked the setting of it and kind of the tarot reading aspects of it. But other than that, I didn't really enjoy it, and I don't think it's going to be very memorable, so it's time to go. And the other one, this was probably my most disappointing book I read maybe 2 years ago. That was One by One, and this was terrible, honestly. I like the setting again. That seems to be something that I do like in all their books, is just the setting. But I knew who the killer was from the start. The only reason I kept reading was because I wanted to figure out why they were doing it. And that was about it. Just can't remember anything else about it. I know some people have enjoyed this, but I think the majority of people just didn't like it. And this is the one that my sister actually hasn't read, and she hasn't picked it up because she's heard kind of mixed feelings about So I'll just give it to her, and if she wants to, she can give it a try. This next one actually did like a Diamond in the Rough adventure vlog, I think. It was a Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry. I actually did enjoy this one as well, but I just feel like I will never reread it, so I'm just gonna unhaul it. I liked how this group of kind of witches kind of came together to kind of solve this murder mystery. Almost felt like a mix of like a cozy mystery and then magic and kind of humor. And I just kind of love the banter between the different kind of witches and how they were all kind of specializing in their own magic. And one of the characters in here, she's an old lady and she specializes in necromancy, and I thought she was just hilarious. And I just loved how she kind of played into kind of this ragtag kind of group trying to solve this mystery. And there's also like this dead mouse aspect into it that kind of has kind of contributed to the kind of solving of the mystery as well. But since I will probably never reread this, I think it's time to find a new home for it. And I think this is the only graphic novel. I'm hoping to get into more graphic novels and manga this year, but this one I read last year, and it was Nameless. And this is actually by Grant Morrison and a couple other different authors who kind of worked on Batman. So I was really intrigued by that, and this one kind of takes place in kind of space and has the occult element. So I was hoping that that was kind of going to be a little bit intriguing, but like I just wasn't very interested in here. I mean, it was very graphic, and I definitely liked kind of the occult elements and stuff, but I just, other than that, like I didn't enjoy it as much, and this was very forgettable, so it's time for it to go. Another one that I think a lot of these I've actually read. Like when I was doing this list, I didn't think I read a lot of these, but actually I have. And next one's going to be The Huntress by Kate Quinn, and this is actually a historical fiction author that a lot of people recommend. And I've been wanting to get into this because one of the characters is named Ian, so I had to kind of pick it up. But also one of the characters in here, the perspectives, Nina, was actually a kind of night witch, and she served in the Russian Air Force's kind of special division of just all women fighters, fighter pilots. So I was really intrigued by that. But then like, it just got into this just slog in the middle where I was just not on board with anything going on. It felt pretty boring and repetitive, and it was also played on kind of the element of where we knew more than the kind of perspectives, so I didn't like that. I was hoping that it was going to be kind of a mystery where we would go along with him and kind of try and figure it out. But other than that, like I was kind of really disappointed by this, and I was hoping for more. I definitely will check out more by the author, because I actually have The Rose Code by her as well, which I heard greater things about that, I think, than this one. But since I never plan on kind of rereading it and I didn't enjoy it, it is time to go to the library. These next two are actually some mystery thrillers that I just did not like at all. The first one was An Anonymous Girl, and this is by an author duo that just recently came out with another book that really intrigued me. And they all sent around like therapists and stuff. But I did like in here how there was a perspective in second person through the therapist's kind of viewpoint. And it was like saying like you and everything like that. So I thought it was kind of being watched, and I loved how that kind of added into the element of the story. But it was very predictable, and I didn't like where it was going. It really got pretty boring, and like I was really interested in the start, and then towards the middle of the chunk, like it just kept getting repetitive. But that is the reason it is going. And then another one, this was actually a recent DNF, and it was absolutely, it was terrible. I hate saying that, but I didn't like it at all, and I know some people did. But I've enjoyed some other books by this author, and this was Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I really enjoyed Home Before Dark and Lock Every Door, but Final Girls and this one were not very good at all. This one actually, I had the DNF. I just didn't like how, like from the start, like why would you get in a car with someone you didn't know? Like I know how her situation kind of was, and she was trying to escape, but come on, like you don't know. Like her boyfriend was gonna, I think he was planning on taking her, but she just had to get out of town. I did like how the elements of film, but I didn't like how they were kind of included into just Charlie's kind of perspective, and how she kind of played movies in her mind and she didn't know whether she can trust us or not. So I don't know. Yeah, like I'm gonna give this to my sister, and hopefully she'll enjoy it more than I did. This next little chunk is a bunch of kind of like YA fantasy, and I think maybe 1 or 2 sci-fi. And the first one is going to be The Partials, which is like book 1 in the Partials sequence. And I honestly don't know why I picked this up at all. I saw it at my local ARC or thrift store, and I thought, why not? Like, I was just in that mood of just buying every book I saw. And it kind of sounded interesting. Well, I didn't even read it, so I don't know how it sounded interesting. But I don't know, this could be one of those ones for the Unhaul project. If you read it and you did enjoy it, it almost seems, just from the cover, it looks kind of similar to the Maze Runner with just like a world destroyed. So I don't know, I did enjoy kind of the Maze Runner, but this I haven't heard anything about, and I don't know why I picked it up. And then I probably bought this the same day, and it was The Program by Suzanne. I think this is another kind of similar situation to kind of like a world on the brink, dystopia, like, you know, when all those books were kind of coming out and these 2 pairs are kind of put into this program. But that's all about I know. That's all I know. If you have read these 2 and you feel like they're good kind of books to pick up and series to start, let me know and we'll put them in the Unhaul project. This one actually hurt to kind of get rid of because it's a special edition, but I think someone will just have a blast when they see this on the library shelf, and that was Sweet and Bitter Magic. Like, this was another one where I was really hoping to enjoy. Like, it had all the right ingredients in it, and it just really didn't turn out well. Like, I like the elements of kind of like the Witch Academy and how they are kind of forced to go to this academy to learn how to use their powers, and you have these 2 that had to kind of work together, and it was kind of like a little bit of enemies to lovers, like really slow burn enemies to lovers, and I was hoping for more romance in here, but it wasn't, and it wasn't even till the very end. And even then, like the epilogue in here as well, like I felt like it was unnecessary. Like the final 50 pages or so felt like a giant epilogue, and it was unnecessary, and I don't like, it was so heartbreaking to not enjoy this, but I think someone else will enjoy it a ton more than me. These next 2, I honestly have no idea what they're going about, so I'm just gonna quickly go through them. This is Beware the Night and Echo North. I honestly don't know where I got them from, but if you've read them and you did enjoy them, maybe we can put them in the Unhaul project as well. But I don't plan on reading them, so I don't know. We'll see. A lot of these I don't know. I don't know why I bought a lot of these. Similar to those other 2, these ones I actually think I will put in the Unhaul project because it's got like a winter setting, and I believe there's elements of kind of like, not archaeology, but kind of exploring. I do love to explore, and they are All the Wandering Light and Even the Darkest Stars, and I believe there's like an animal companion to this as well. So I think this one will probably go in the Unhaul project because I've heard great things about it from a lot of people, but since I'm being a lot more picky with the YA fantasy, I just don't know when I'll be able to get to it. So maybe if I do put it in the Unhaul project, it'll kind of like force me to do it, you know? And the last one that's going to be for sure going is one that I absolutely hated. I hated this book so much. This is a Poppy War, and I'm just kidding. I absolutely kind of loved the Poppy War, but I actually got the UK versions because I just like the look of them a ton better than the US version. I don't know, like even though they're like the same cover and everything, I don't know why. But the UK covers always seem to be a little bit more interesting to me. But I'm actually going to give this to one of my professors who specializes in kind of Chinese history, and I feel like he will enjoy it, and if not, he can give it to one of his kind of grad students who might kind of enjoy it as well. And these next 2 are actually going to be the ones that are for sure going to be going into the Unhaul project, and that is the Girl from Everywhere kind of duology. I really kind of like the setup in here, how this pirate ship can basically go through any elements of time, dimension, world, space, everything, and I just kind of love how this young girl is kind of going on this adventure, and she kind of has to prevent her father from resurrecting her mother, I believe. So this one I really do want to pick up soon, and I haven't really heard much about it, but I think putting it into the Unhaul project will finally get me to finally read it, because I put it on quite a few different kind of TBRs, but I just never got to it. But that's going to be all for this unhaul. If there was any that you saw that need to go into the unhaul project because they are must-reads, please let me know. But this is going to be all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next adventure. So if you did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing. But it is time for Ellie to come on here and just wish you all to first have a splendid day. But she also says that adventure is out there. So I'll catch you next time. Bye.